mine, maybe they'll do it that way.
All right, so you've got the microphone.
Right here, whenever you're ready.
Are we ready? Contact action.
Where's the
Okay.
microphone?
I think she's wearing the microphone, so she has to stand near to me so I could talk to her. I don't know if that's good etiquette or not, talking
It's
to your
not,
chef,
but it's
but
okay.
anyway,
No, it's right here. It's up top. You can just talk. I
I
think.
can talk to that.
Should I just-
Welcome, everybody, to the Mayday. I hope it isn't the Mayday. That's a sign of a bad situation, right? You yell out Mayday in your airplane, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the Zoom audience, and thank you for being here in person. And the real thank yous I have to do are to our tech person who helped put it all together. I didn't have anything to do with it. Rob Gunnerman, thank you very much, from Club 797 and 1348. And thank the VA Hospital for giving us this facility to put the program on. Thanks Sharon Kenty for putting out that wonderful flyer that went out in publicity so that people knew about us. And thank you, District 12, for keeping us alive. As I say, oftentimes we only exist by the whim of the district director. So the district director says we don't exist, we don't exist. Simple as that. And I appreciate, I see our district governors here. I don't know whether you would like to make your announcement now about what's going on this next coming weekend, or do you want to wait till the end, or what do you want to do, Jeremiah?
He's working, he's off camera for a minute. He's working on some other project, so he'll do it later.
Okay, do it later. I got that much. I don't know about anything else. Okay, we also have a special person here today because we have our brand newest QS in the room. Jazz is there. Just say hi to us, okay, Jazz?
Hi, everyone. It's so
She's
wonderful to
fulfilling
see
her
you.
duties by being here to evaluate the future. So you'll be voting
Hey.
later on to
Hey,
say yes
Jazz.
or no, and make sure those go into chat, I think is the way he usually does that. So thank you for being here. Any quick words for the future QS?
I think you will do phenomenally well. We are so excited to hear your speech, and that's all I have. Thank you so much, Tom.
Okay, we already put Jess to work. She's speaking tomorrow at a Kiwanis Club in Riverside. So
Nice.
congratulations on that. We have someone who passed. We have almost enough people to collect the 5 books. So I'm going to call Connie up here. By the way, she's also going to explain how she's doing the timing while she's at it. So you want to come on down and explain the timing especially for our US candidate, and also explain what special prizes people get a reward for being here to get. So come on down. Connie?
Exciting. Come on, Connie.
I'll be timing for our QS candidate using the good old fashioned colors, green, yellow, and red's hidden under there. And I don't know anything for the online, so you'll have to let me know if I do that, but
Yeah, you can make sure they know about. We'll make sure.
here are the books, and I'll come around with the tickets. Our speaker is talking about etiquette, and just in case you don't learn enough, I found this little book, How to Behave. A Guide to Modern Manners for the Socially Challenged.
Love it.
This is May, Mother's Day is in May, and we have a book, Heart of the Mother. It's by Cheryl Roush,
Ooh.
former member of District 12, an accredited speaker, and several people from our own district will be included in that. And because it's Mother's Day, and I don't know, because we're having some speakers about women, I found Women Who Rock Too. More inspirational stories of success by extraordinary women. And Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office 101. Unconscious mistakes women make that sabotage their careers. And of course, special women are the First Ladies, America's First Ladies. So it looks like we will probably have almost one per person, but I will pass out these tickets later. And back to you, Mr. MC.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yes, I'll tell you more about next month. We will have a QS candidate next month too, but I'll tell you more about that at the end of the meeting. But tonight we have someone who I have heard her speak more than once and a couple of occasions. Oftentimes QS candidates speak at Fantastic Communicators. That's usually the Friday right before Speakers Bureau. And they get a chance to practice that and get skewered by members of the number of QSs that are in that club. So no, they get some good positive improvement. So let me tell you a little bit about Christine. Christine's presentation will help you discover the transformation powers of etiquette in both professional and personal settings. She will share insightful experiences that have shaped this journey, including the need for etiquette skills in the working world. The Polished Message Etiquette Program, PME, was born from her office efforts to teach these etiquette skills to her own children and to the subsequent recognition of its importance in professional environment. And her sponsor, her mentor, her coach in this is one of the very special members of District 12's leadership team, Rosalind Carter, past district governor and past regional advisor. So she has achieved some great things, and I'm sure she'll continue for years to come.
Yes.
All right, Roz. You can do the introduction.
Thank you, Tom. Hello, everyone, and hello, this beautiful lady.
Thank you.
She has a special presentation tonight. My friend, Christine Ferreira. Would you like to be more confident and charismatic in everyday situations and create a better impression for yourself and your organization? Etiquette is not just about which fork to use or not putting your elbows on the table while eating. It's about first impressions and how you present yourself. From tips shared in her session, you'll be able to feel more confident in real-world situations. A seasoned etiquette trainer and creator of the Polished Message Method, etiquette coach and trainer Christine Ferreira is passionate about teaching practical skills through experiential learning and hands-on techniques. As an instructor at the Inland Empire Institute of Business and Technology, she teaches an online etiquette course, personal and professional lifestyle, as a 30-day Skill Up badge program sponsored by Microsoft. Over the past decade, Christine has coached and trained for numerous organizations, including the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. The Fontana Chamber of Commerce awarded Christine their 2022-2023 Ambassador of the Year Award for exceptional hospitality and leadership. With this session on mastering the etiquette effect, the art of professional presence, please let's all give a warm welcome to Christine Ferreira.
Thank you so much. May I give you a hug?
Oh, yes, yes.
Hello, everyone. Recently, I read an article or several articles because employment and the workspace has become front and center. SHRM did an article on 60% of the HR employees believe that etiquette plays a role in employment and allows the person to navigate their space effectively and have great communication skills. The second one I read, this one was even more powerful. It was done by the University of Notre Dame. They said 88% of the people that can actually implement etiquette techniques, they are more effective in the workplace. There was a time in my life when I was a little girl, way back there. We had a special Aunt Thelma Tatum who wanted us to go everywhere, do everything, and be the best person we can be. We have a tendency to not always want to go. However, we did. Have you ever experienced a time like that or something similar where you were encouraged to go, but you really didn't want to go? Raise your hand and say if you are. Awesome. I have company. As life went on, in 1981, I married my dance partner. I enjoy dancing. It makes you move and whine and dine and have a good old time dancing. We had 3 boys. We still have 3 boys. That's funny. And the oldest one after college, he went into the working world and he came home, Mom, why? Why are the behaviors in the workplace the way they are? I said to him, and what are you going to do about it? I gave it right back to Michael Jr. And he said, Mom, I will write a book and I will help them. This book right here, The Perfect Gentleman's Pocket Guide. Allow me to rephrase, or maybe I'll just read it. On page 46, it says, Ferrero Fresh Tip. Get an additional handkerchief to serve as the one you will use because the one in the front of your jacket is for style. And we'll talk about style today too. As he embarked on this book, more doors opened for us. And in today's synopsis, you will hear about 3 components of the Polish Message Etiquette program, which was birthed after we saw the need to help change the tapestry. Because of those first words you heard me talk about, especially those. And it gives me hope to know that there's hope somewhere because the community of the business world is realizing the importance of it. In the 3 synopsis, communication, which is how we connect with each other. Image/style, how we present ourselves. Present ourselves being present and presentable. It doesn't matter where you go, we must be presentable and be present in the moment so we can deliver our message. Number 3, which is a comprehensive etiquette. Tonight, we'll only talk about a small bit of it so you can get an idea what I do, when I do it, and how I do it. How I teach etiquette for each other so that they can have a better performance in their workplace. Let's start with number 1, communication. We're always talking. We've been talking since the day we found our voices. However, as we grow older and we get among our friends, we tend to pick up slangs. As we pick up slangs, we tend to want to take it into the workplace and use the same language we talk with a buddy in the boardroom. Let me share a story with you. What if you're the entrepreneur of your company and you have a board meeting that day, you show up. And then someone remembered that you have a project that you're doing. They turn to you and they say, Jennifer, how is that project coming along? Do you have time to run to your office and get your notes? Perhaps not. So You must tap into your resource and deliver that message succinctly so the person can understand what you're saying. Think about using 50, 20 words. And of those 20 words, you said, you know, like, so. And then you start all over. You know, like so. Process that for a minute. Did the receiver understand what you delivered? Or did they just walk away and say, what did she say? We must be mindful of delivering our messages. The way you want to do that for yourself, slow down. Pause. Take a breath. And deliver your message. Number 2, your image and your style. We have choices. You choose wisely because everyone is watching. And especially if you are now entering into the working world where you finish college, where you're a college person, you had fun, you learned what you need to do. However, now you're going into the working world. How do we meander around that? How do we deliver our message? How do we present ourselves and be presentable? If and when you go into that interview, know where you're going, how you are going to get there, and who you're going to be speaking with. If they do not offer you a chair, then you kindly ask, may I sit there? However, take a moment to wait until you are offered a chair. Avoid walking into the room assuming anything, that this is where you want to be seated, because they might bring other people in that will be part of the interview. Number 3, my favorite part, the etiquette component. However, it's challenging using the etiquette in the right perspective when we're not delivering our message. We need to know where we're going to the restaurant, what happens at the restaurant, how do we make a reservation, who do we talk with? Or you are the owner of that company and there is a gala that you were invited to. Galas are fun. We go to them, you got there. And we looked at the invite. We then looked at the color scheme. And we make choices so that we present the image we want the other person to be comfortable with. Etiquette is all about how we interact with each other. It's not something way out in La La Land. It's for all of us. We use it as we speak. We use it when someone's watching us. Someone is always watching. You might be looking for a promotion. You've been asking for it. Somebody's watching to see if you are the candidate for that promotion. And now they ask you to attend this gala because the person that made the arrangements now can't go. And now they have tapped you to represent the company. Are you able to do that? Are you ready to say yes? Because you have the skills. You know how to navigate that dining table. So you go. There's a networking component. They may have finger foods. And we eat finger foods with our finger, correct? However, I suggest, and I highly suggest, that when you're networking for your business or at this gala event before the main dinner, hold your plate in the right hand like this and eat with your left fingers so that someone walks up to you that's been waiting to see you and they go, hi, and they reach out with your plate. Now you can switch it over and now you can give a non-greasy handshake. Web to web, clasp, 1, 2, 3 pumps. Release. One of the same reasons we wear our name badges on the right. So if you're at that gala and they offer you a name badge, remember to place it on your right upper chest. We tend to want to place it on your left because it's easier. We're right-handed and we go like this. Take the effort to put it here so that when you introduce yourself, they can read it and call you by the name you would like to be called, not one someone made up for you. Now you're at the table. You finish your networking event. You saw that beautiful steak, nice marble steak, baked potato, and some beautiful green vegetables. Took a few bites. Oh yes, it's delicious. Enjoying it. However, the person you want to talk with or the reason they sent you there was sitting right next to you. And your conversation was amazing. And you got so involved in that conversation that, oh my goodness. Before you know it, you turned around and your steak was gone. Do you want to know why? Would you like to know why they took your plate away? I even brought tools for you. Here's your dinner plate. And your neighbor is next door to you. You spoke to her, and you spoke to her, and you had a great conversation. Because now, remember, you were tapped to go there, and there are lots of points you must remember. You must give a report on the way back. So you got to be mindful. When you accidentally place your utensils, both your knife and your fork together at 5 o'clock on your plate, the wait staff will walk around, notice that you're finished. What we do speaks very loud. If it's at 5 o'clock, it's an indication that you are finished eating. So they come by and they take your plate. No matter if there's food on it. Who wants to know how to prevent it? Okay, here we go. Knife and fork. And I have mine in my right hand and my left hand because my dominant hand is right. If your dominant hand is left, then you will probably have the reverse. And with that, when you are attending an event, one of the points I want to encourage you to do is ask your host or share with your host that you're left-handed so they can place you in the right position at the table. Because if you're not sitting in the right place, you're going to have an elbow action with your neighbor. And it's our responsibility to speak up. Once you get that invite and you know where you're going, ask them nicely. The way we prevent our food from going taken away from us because we're resting. Imagine you're rowing a boat. Place your utensils, your knife and your fork at 5 and 8 on the plate. 5 and 8 o'clock. And now you can talk as long as you want, because you have tips to get, notes to take, and a message to deliver when you get back to the office. So we're not going to do this, right? And continue to talk. We will do this one. So that your host or the person that's serving you at the table will know you are resting or you are finished. At the dinner table, if you are asked to pass me the salt, please, pass both, salt and pepper. And let's have this other tip. This, I have a box. Let's do the box. Ready for the box? I have this toolbox, etiquette toolbox. And I normally have you pick out a knife. When we reach for the knife, most people think this is what kind of knife? The what knife? There you go. The butter knife. I'm here to share with you that the shorter one is your butter knife. Haha, I lost it. Okay. I'll share the butter knife with you. When I teach the children, we play games. And we show all the toys. It's a shorter one. I can't find it. Let's move on. Either way, I have it right here.
It fell.
I have it on my table. This is the butter knife. Let's put this back. So this is your entree knife, your dinner knife, not your butter knife. And this is your butter knife. Look at the shape. It's nice and flat. When we use our butter knife, we take a tab of the butter and place it on your butter plate, your bread plate. It's the same size, the same one I used to demonstrate your networking food eating. So it's the same size because all your plates have different size. They have different purpose. You place your butter knife here, and this is how you butter your bread before you bite into it, and you never have to go back and use the same knife, not the dinner knife. Etiquette is for everyone. We use it every day. If this is your first time being introduced to etiquette, just know you too can do this. You may have seen Lisa Nichols at last year's convention. I remember watching her when she was working in her closet. Well, let's do it this way, because she had a tiny closet. And then when I saw her at the international convention, I was so happy to see her progress. Etiquette is for everyone and anyone. You can do this. My favorite movie, The Sound of Music, she talked about Julie Andrews. Let's start at the first beginning. You can do this too. You have your sheet with your note-taking sheet. There's a QR code on that sheet. Feel free to scan it. it will come directly to me, and I will be able to offer you a complimentary 20-minute session tailored specifically for you. Remember your communication component, your image component, and etiquette, which is a comprehensive. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Still
And
alive.
everyone, take this information back to the friends you know, the youth programs that you're involved in, and make sure that this etiquette presentation is shared with others, because you never know. Somebody needs to hear it, and you won't be like your son, Michael, and say, "What's wrong with these people? Don't they have any manners?" Thank you.
My
Thank you so
pleasure. My
much.
pleasure.
Tom?
Okay. Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 10 minutes or so of valuable compliment.
Okay.
okay, I'll come
Now
stand
it
next
is
to you.
time for QSs online and in person to ask questions or make comments to Christine.
What, do I still look this way?
Okay. So we just raise our hand or what? Tom?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. So first,
Dominique?
all right. I don't know if I can. If everybody,
Do you want me to come next to you?
I'll come here so everybody can hear me. Okay.
I'll come on this side
Okay.
since it's on this side.
Hello. That
Hello.
was a lovely speech, and you gave me some very practical tips that I'm going to take home. When you deliver this speech again, I'd like you to tell us what SHRM
Yeah.
stands for. The Society of Human
Human
Resources
Resource Management.
Management, which I knew
And I do too.
being in HR, but the curse of knowledge for the rest of the people. Your voice was clear, your pace was steady, and when you talked about dancing, you got very fluid and comfortable, and that was lovely to watch. Be aware of the light, especially here. You can sense it on top of yourself. You can feel it when it's in your eyes is when it's best. So be aware of the light, maybe do a practice. Where can I be seen? Where can you see me the next time you speak at a venue? You said slangs.
Mhm.
It's, I think, slang,
Mhm.
although multiple slangs
Mhm.
is still
They're
slang.
always doing it. Oh,
Fish,
let me stop
fishes,
talking.
slangs. You said challenging. And you be careful not to drop your voice or your energy at the end of your sentences, because sometimes the last word you said was the most important. And I want to make sure I hear that last little bit, like knife or pepper or greasy hand or whatever the end of it was. You used the word tapestry, which was just beautiful. What a beautiful mental image. And you yourself, the way you present, are a perfect picture. When I think about looking up etiquette in the dictionary, I think there's going to be a picture of you looking friendly, approachable, but so nicely put together. And not intimidating, but warm and approachable. And I think you did a phenomenal job. A couple of tiny little nothing tweaks, really just nitpicking. Well
My
done.
pleasure.
1, 2, 3.
You did it. You did it right. Anyone else
Oh my God.
from
Oh, we can
the
look this way.
audience, the Zoom audience, or in front of us?
Michael, I see Michael Alexander.
Michael Alexander, doctor, speak up.
I think of my mother as someone who was particularly good at etiquette. And I look at you and I absolutely see all of the reasons why I feel she was so good. You gave a number of tips, which I recognize from what she told me and learned from. And I said, yes, I absolutely agree with you. These are things everyone should learn because, as you say, it's not just about what you do when you're casual. It's about who you represent, who you're going to be, and how you fit into the culture you're going to be at. And I loved that. There was that very warm, strong feeling. That said, you got me. I wanted to call it a butter knife. I also congratulate you. When you couldn't find the right butter knife, you handled it with grace and aplomb. You looked long enough to give it a fair try. When you realized it wasn't there, you just kept right on going without being flustered. I thought that was marvelous. What you do when something goes wrong is very, very important for a speaker. And you did it right. And then when you found it, you just gracefully moved on. Again, the sort of presentation that makes the things you're saying very real to your audience. You lived what you told them you should be, and that gave you a lot of credibility in my mind. So I was very impressed. I was touched by the memory of a woman whom I feel very much also represented the things you're talking about, and that made it stronger and more enforced for me. But it also meant that you really carried the effect. Wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you, Dr. Michael. The etiquette in this room is a little bit awkward because we have to look this way, but our audience is behind us. That's okay. We live with that. Anyone else behind me?
Michael Osher, she said.
Michael?
Thank you, Madam Roz.
Ah.
So Christine, this reminded me of being in England where I was taught about the silverware when I was having all the same trouble you described with my food disappearing when I didn't expect it. I was so confused. Thank you so much for the three aspects. And I think that the emphasis that you made on the third part, because one of the, maybe we cheat. When we hired high level people where I worked in Riverside County, we would often take them to lunch. And so many people crashed and burned on table etiquette. And there's no way you could hire these people because they didn't know how to use their napkin and their fork. And it was just, so this is really almost more important, as we learned, than image or the communication skill. And let me tell you, at the International Convention, there's always people stealing my bread plate because they don't know it's on the left and not the right. And I think less of these people for some reason. And I think this is what's lacking in our world, and what you present, which is so obvious to our parents' my parents' generation, and something we need to learn, is so valuable. And you made me so hungry for the knowledge. Now, I always have a suggestion. I know what SHRM is. I know that Dominique knows what SHRM is, but half the people probably do not. So you might want to say what that group is, the HR professional group. And then at the end, you kind of finish with the etiquette, but you say, wow, it's so important that we have the communication and the image. Remember, you can crash and burn with table, something like that at the end, I think would have made us all laugh. And Christine, I haven't heard you speak in a long time, and I'm thrilled to hear you speak again.
Thank you, Michael.
And I think Jazz wants to speak.
Jazz, yes. Jazz?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Okay, so I loved your speech. When I heard that the topic was etiquette, I was hoping there would be some practical applications, and I think you did such a phenomenal job, not only showing up with so much grace and poise, talking about a topic that you are deeply passionate about, I can tell, you brought that toolkit and you brought all of these props to really emphasize the points that you were sharing. And I think that's what will make some of the points that you shared really stick. Now, I don't know if I would pass the salt and the pepper if you hadn't today shared that that's the right thing to do. And I do instantly go and put my badge on the left-hand side and not the right-hand side on my upper chest. But now that you've shared that, I will make that connection immediately. So thank you so much for doing that. I felt that you spoke very clearly throughout your speech, so I truly love that. And I love that element of humor that you sprinkled in throughout your speech, because I could hear the audience laughing and relating to some extent to what you were sharing, because you didn't just bring in the workplace, you talked about attending an event or a gala, and there were several examples of where remembering the importance of etiquette is fundamental. So I truly enjoyed that. If you were to give this speech again, I have two suggestions. The first one is that I would have loved to see some more audience engagement. I know you had a little bit, but there were times when you could have maybe asked us, has anybody fumbled at an event or seen somebody else fumble? What could have been done differently? Did anybody see Lisa Nichols speak at the convention, right? It could have been any of those type of questions, but I would have loved to see more audience engagement. And then another recommendation is just to take a look at your hand gestures and see if they are purposeful and intentional at all times in the speech. I did see you use a lot of hand gestures, which at times felt purposeful. And at other times, I felt that you could have really rooted yourself and been a little bit more grounded, especially at a time where you said, slow down, pause, take a breath. I would have loved to see you a little bit more grounded and actually slowing down and pausing and taking a breath. And that's just one example. But overall, I think you did a spectacular job, and I appreciate you sharing your speech with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jess. Anyone else?
Is Esther here?
Esther?
Yes, my light is not correct, so I'm just, oh, there you go. Hello, Christine. Long
Hi,
time
Esther.
no see.
Let me turn this way.
Like everybody else, I did enjoy the speech, and of course, they've said it all, Shrem and all that. The name badge thing, that's the most important one to me, because most of the time we fumble with it, and somebody would ask me, where do I put my name? Where do I put my pin? So knowing that things that are close to your heart, the pin goes to your left, and then the name badge to your right. I really like that, how you greet people. For me, points of improvement would be at the end when you were looking for your tools. I would have loved to see that table set for me, ready to go, and then pick up the items one by one as you were talking to us, rather than reach for that beautiful box that you use to travel with your tools. That allows for you fidgeting and looking for items. It avoids you doing that, and therefore you lose eye contact with us, because now you're looking down trying to find the butter knife or trying to find whatever tool you are trying to communicate to us. Lay the table for us and then pick up each item as you are communicating with us, because it's easily set and easily accessible right there for you. Otherwise, enjoyed it, and etiquette is very important. We call it manners. When you have your manners, you are my kind of person. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Esther. Anyone else? Trying to see if there are any hands up here in the audience. I do not see any more, so let's hand this back over to Thomas.
Yes.
Couple thoughts.
Okay.
When a number of months ago, when you reached out to me about the content of etiquette, I thought, I wonder whether that will be a topic that I can sell on the road, because that's one of the ways I look at it. Is this a topic that I can set out into the world to speak at an organization, and it will be something that they will see of value? And hearing you and seeing you grow over the time and seeing you do this in person again, that's another step in the right direction. I can't help but think it is a product that will be taken by an audience, and so that's good. A few points as a professional evaluator, like our present member here. Anyway, so whenever somebody starts to use it 1, 2, and 3, I'm making notes. Did they get all 3 of them in? And you did that confidently, and you did it. So you always worry about, that's one of the first things you hear qualified speakers comment. What happened to number 4? You know, or 8, you don't do 8, you know, so those were all good. I thought of course, no one, the word etiquette and my name ever happened in the same sentence. I'm one sitting there, Connie, which bread is mine? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I also think out in the extreme, I think, well, the etiquette of all these different, you've got potential material for more presentations, say a series, you know, at a workshop or something, because I'm thinking, okay, what about the etiquette, say at the business meeting of a group of Hells Angels? You know, the etiquette there might be a little bit different than it is somewhere else, you know, and so there's so much to the aspect of etiquette that, the etiquette of cell phone use on a first date. So I started thinking often skewering off into the world, but I really have to say, I've seen so much growth. I think this is a speech that we can take out into the world. And I think you did an excellent job. And I love some of the turn of, there was so many turns of phrases that were great. One of them that I just loved was buddies to the boardroom. That put that picture in my mind of the various range of how you have to have the etiquette for the appropriate situation. So that goes back to our Hells Angels board meeting, you know, so you know what your etiquette is to be able to fit in and make your points across and be well thought of and respected in your environment. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Wow.
Tom. All right, everyone.
All right.
If there are no further comments, I will return conduct back to our Toastmaster of the Speakers Bureau, Tom James.
Okay.
And I can breathe.
Excellent job.
I can breathe.
Okay.
Oh, you're
It's
so
gonna be a
kind.
relaxing program for me. Because someone else is gonna take over going forward, and I know she's totally capable of doing it. Because she has put out a session this.
I have undershirt.
As speakers, she's well along with us. She was a keynote speaker at the District 12 conference a year or 2 ago. But I know she's capable of putting on one. Can you hear me? I hope I'm not talking to myself. I have done that in the past, but usually that some of the best conversations I have, the most intelligent conversations I have when I am talking to myself, but we'll go on from there. Kimberly Smith Austin is a super speaker. She's been involved with, back part of her email used to be fit to be fit or something. And I'm thinking, if I happen, I usually get up early, but if I happen to sleep until 8 o'clock, it always crosses my mind. I wonder how many miles Kimberly has already exercised and run and all these things she's probably already accomplished when I'm up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So maybe I'm misread her personality and lifestyle, but I doubt it. Emily, our next speaker on the let me see if I get this correct, Courage to Shine, Kimberly Smith Austin. Let's hear it for Kimberly.
Woo woo! Good evening, good evening. Let me say this, I'm off camera for just a bit. My son just finished the CIF volleyball game and it was an uproar. So what an exciting time to be able to come here and share with you a little bit about the Courage to Shine tour. Just on this past Saturday, we had 15 speakers, 4 powerful keynote speakers who brought a message to women of all ages and all stages of their life, equipping, educating, inspiring, but most of all, empowering them in their wellness. So today we have 4 wonderful speakers who'll be sharing just a little bit about what they've talked about on Saturday, giving you a little highlight or an abbreviated version. Tonight, we're going to kick off this series with Cindy Williams and Elena McMurtry, and her talk is called Am I Good Enough? Elena McMurtry, Am I Good Enough?
Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate that. May I share my screen? I do have a PowerPoint. Is that all right? Okay. Say it away. Allow me to. Let me know if you can see it. Awesome. Can you see it?
We're good, Elena.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to go first. Oh, did you see? Sorry. It was fireworks behind me, and I have a display behind me, so you could just saw it. At any rate, thank you for allowing me to go first. I live in the Chicagoland area. I just got back super early this morning, and I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm a bit unnerved, to be honest, because you're a professional evaluator. So hopefully you can take off your evaluation hat just for a few moments and get some of these nuggets, and hopefully they'll be beneficial to you. When I think about, am I good enough? I think about imposter syndrome. Has anybody ever experienced imposter syndrome besides me out there? I hope I'm not the only one. Well, statistics say that 75% of women deal with imposter syndrome and 63% of men. So my guess is that I'm not the only one. So what I want to do today is I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we did on Saturday. I'm really excited about it. And the way that I intend to do that is to talk to you about my journey to figuring out whether or not I am good enough. So that said, and then give you an idea of what you might be able to do to stay in the space of feeling good enough about yourself. That said, let me go ahead and move on. Again, Elena McMurtry, I want to introduce myself to you. I am a corporate trainer and newly turned speaker. I've been a corporate trainer for 30 years. The light bulb moments are what that lights me up and gives me great joy. I want to start off by telling you about the first experiences that I earned my glasses, which you'll learn about in just a moment. This is 4-year-old Elena. My parents had me when they were freshmen in college, and I have students that are in college now, and I can't imagine them being parents. So I imagine that was tough for them. My mom came home. We lived in Michigan and got a job. My dad stayed at school. My maternal grandparents raised me. It was so cool. I didn't know we were broke. Who knew? I had everything that I needed. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. My paternal grandparents also lived in the same town, but they were the rich ones. And I enjoyed going over there. My dad has a younger sister that's only 2 years older than me. Her name is Lori, and she was my very first best friend. So one Christmas, I went to spend Christmas Eve with Lori, and we were preparing for Santa Claus. Really excited. You know how children are about not being able to sleep when it's time to go to bed. Santa Claus is coming, so excited, right? That was us. But we finally got to sleep, and when we woke up, there were toys everywhere. This was the kind of display where all the toys were assembled and they were sort of set out. So I just walked out into a sea of amazing toys. I was so excited. Santa came, he delivered. There was a Barbie townhome. Maybe some of you guys remember that. There was one of those Barbie van thingies. I don't know what you call that. So I went over to those. They were the big shiny ones, and I was so excited about it. Well, I soon learned that those toys, probably 98% of the toys were for Lori. Now, I was at her parents' house, right? But as a 4-year-old, all I knew was that Santa Claus didn't bring me what I wanted. What I wanted were those big toys. So what I did was I earned myself a pair of what I now refer to as not good enough glasses, because I didn't feel good enough. Lori got the dream house. She got the Barbie bus thingy. I got a baby alive doll, and it was black. Don't judge me, but I didn't want no black doll at the time. I don't know. It's blame it on the media. I'm good now. I love myself. I'm fine. Don't worry. But this is what I got. Oh, there it is. Not happy. And just proof that I was not trying to fool with any black dolls. Here's me and my favorite. This is Donna on the left. And I don't remember my white baby alive doll on the right. So the next thing, that was when I earned my not good enough glasses. I want to tell you a little bit about Ray, who was my cousin. She was about 4 years older than me. And we used to go to, when I was about 6 years old, we used to spend the summers at our aunt and uncle's house in Gary, Indiana. And you couldn't tell me, I was from Benton Harbor, Michigan, so Gary, Indiana was the big city, and I couldn't wait, right, to go. And there were 3 bedrooms, one was an office, and she and I shared the back bedroom. And I went to their house every year until I was in my teenage years, right? But what they didn't know was at nights when we were alone, right? She was 4 years older than me, did things that were inappropriate to me. That's where I earned my shame glasses. Now, the reason I'm sharing this about the glasses is because when you put glasses on and they have colors, you start to see things through the perspective of the glasses. So when I talked to you about my not good enough glasses, I put those on. I saw the world through me not being good enough or not feeling good enough. Well, now I have some shame glasses, so I get to walk around with that as well. I lived in Benton Harbor, Michigan, as mentioned, and that was an all-black town. I moved when I was 10 years old to Owensboro, Kentucky, which was, say it with me, all white. Which is not an issue, really, you know, the cultural differences. And I had questions about my hair and can I touch it and whether or not I tanned when the sun came out and those kinds of things. Understandably, you know, I understand that now that people were just curious. But as a little 10-year-old girl, I felt there was shame there because I was the only one. And guess what else? I had my not good enough glasses. I have a couple, and I was getting hard to even see. Not sure if you guys are relating. I hope so, because I can't see you. So those are just a couple things. My father passed last year, and we had a great relationship once I got older. But when I was about 13, mind you, he was 18 years old when I was born. So he's still growing up as well. I remember him taking me to a work event with him. It was a cookout. All the kids were playing, and I yelled, "Daddy, Daddy!" And he came up to me looking kind of like, you know, he's like, "Hey, don't call me Daddy here." Wait, what? Don't call you Daddy. So needless to say, right? My shame glasses, my not good enough glasses. Why am I not good enough that my dad, I can't even call him Daddy? Now, of course, since then, I've learned, you know, he went through what he went through. He had to do what he had to do in order to be okay. And we talked about that, and it's fine. So as you're seeing, as I'm growing, I am earning more and more glasses and seeing things from the perspective of not good enough, of shame. And then in graduate school, mind you, there's plenty of examples, but I'm being fast. I was an admission counselor for Murray State University is where I went for graduate school. And my territory was Southern Illinois. And I went to this very small town, think Mayberry. And I was there early for my high school visit. I went to a diner, like a storefront diner. And I walked in and everybody turned and looked at me. Well, I was living in Kentucky at the time, and I was used to being the only, so that wasn't a big deal. So I ordered my food, which I hope they didn't spit in, because a very old man, he was probably close to 90, if not, came over and handed me a napkin. And on that napkin, he asked me if I would cook and clean for him. I'm in graduate school and I'm pretty cute. Like, I don't think, is this giving maid vibes? I don't know. Man, who knows? I don't know. But he asked me to clean his house for him. That's what he saw when he looked at me. And I earned what I'm going to call here black stuff glasses. I probably earned these before that event, but I just want to introduce that to you. And that's the thing. So now I have several pairs of glasses, and honestly, the glasses are still not far. I have to do things now to ensure that I don't keep the glasses on. And so I want to introduce chapter 2, Quiet on the Set, right? I read these 2 books that were very integral in me changing my mindset. And hopefully you guys are with me with imposter syndrome. And there's 2 things that I want to share with you before I finish. And the first is I went to a landmark education. Anybody ever heard of Landmark? Have you ever gone to the forum? It's amazing if you ever hear of it. One of the things the forum leader said to us was, just when I'm in person, I have people actually do this. I'll say chocolate or vanilla, choose, right? And then we'll have people raise their hand and somebody will say, well, I said, okay, what is it? And they said chocolate. I'm like, great. Why? Oh, because it's delicious. Thank you, but no, right? And then somebody else said vanilla. Why? Because I'm allergic to chocolate. That's fantastic, but no. And we went on and on like that for a while until someone raised their hand and she said, yes, you know, what is it? And they said vanilla. And she said, why do you choose vanilla? And the answer was, because I choose vanilla. She said, absolutely. And I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a moment, but I had a hip hop revelation. Now, during this time, face to face, there's music playing and I'm doing a hip hop dance, demonstrating what I was doing at the time. And it's very, can't really chair dance, but you can imagine. My son, my 16-year-old son, my oldest, I have 4 sons. My oldest came with me, probably begrudgingly, but whatever. He was standing behind me on my right side. And so I'm doing the thing, right? Getting serious about it. He leans up, he goes, Mom, I'm like, yes, what is it? What is it? He was like, oh, so I'm, trying to ignore him. Mom, yes, son, what is it? He goes, I'm embarrassed. I said, Dylan, why are you embarrassed? He says, I'm embarrassed because I feel like people are watching me. At that moment, my reply to him was, son, they're not watching you. They're afraid you're watching them. Wow. So that makes me wonder if we're all concerned about the same things. If I'm concerned about you looking at me, you concerned about me looking at you, everyone is dealing with this, where the majority, right, of people are dealing with imposter syndrome. What can we do about that? Well, we get to choose, right? We get to choose for the sake of choosing. So what I'm telling you is that you are not alone in this. And we get to choose to be good enough. Chocolate or vanilla, choose. It's simply a choice. It's not easy, but it's simple. Okay. So I want to tell you one last thing, and I'll go ahead and pass it along. We all have belief systems. And the belief systems consist of things that we think, which lead to things that we say, right? And we all know that words are very powerful. The power of the tongue, right? Life and death. We hear that thoughts become things, so many different areas. It's a spiritual law. The beliefs that we have and the experiences, which I call actions. So thoughts or words, beliefs, and then the experiences that we may call actions. So if we have these beliefs and they're limiting, right? Like when I wear my glasses and I see myself and I believe that I'm not good enough, that affects the thoughts that I have, which affects the words that I have, which creates the experiences that I have, which validate the belief that I'm not good enough. So of those 3 things, think about which one you think would be the easiest to change. Which one do you think? Well, I will offer that the easiest to change might be thoughts, because we can catch our thoughts before they become words and come out of our mouth. Yes? So if we change the words that we say, if we say more empowering things, contrary to I'm not good enough, I am strong, I am powerful, right? If we say them enough times, then our experiences might reflect that we are powerful and amazing and good enough, which then make our beliefs different, which it's a cycle, right? So once that one thing, you have new beliefs and new thoughts and new experiences. And that is how we get out of those limiting beliefs and install new empowering beliefs. So this is not all my presentation, but I'm going to stop here. And I just want to share with you, that these were my experiences. I know we all have our own experiences growing up and maybe earning your own glasses, but I want to encourage you and empower you to know that you can change them. And that's all. I'm finished. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Elena. I am good enough, or am I good enough? That's the question you get to decide. Followed by Elena's amazing speech, I'd like to bring forth Cindy Williams, which is a perfect next with her title, Change the Script. Cindy Williams with Change the Script.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I am going to be sharing my screen in a moment, and I think I have been enabled to do that. But I am so grateful to be you here today. You know, it was on my birthday a year ago that I received a diagnosis via email. You have mono, it said. I was 55 years old and I found out I got the kissing disease. So my family, they had a whole lot of fun with that. But then a few weeks later, I started developing some new symptoms. In fact, it felt like my skin, somebody had lit a match to it. It was burning. And then about a month from there, my hair started to fall out. And somehow midlife was starting to get very real fast. Come November, I recruited my daughter when we were visiting in Dallas to take me wig shopping because I had lost my hair. And as we were there and I bought my three girls and we boxed them up and I brought them home, we had Boardroom Barb, Sassy Susan, and Trashy Trish. My husband wanted the long blonde. And I was starting to get used to wearing them, but I felt like I was living a lie. I felt like I was hiding this secret behind them. You see, I coach women entering midlife on how to take the lead in their life to find a new purpose and to really create an amazing second half that I was hiding. And I was getting ready to kind of reveal that to my coaching group when my husband came home and he said, Cindy, I have some place for us to go Saturday night. We've been invited to the sheriff's charity dinner. And I thought, oh, well, that would be fun. But I was starting to get used to all this on my head and I was a little bit nervous, but we went and we got there and we were eating dinner with friends, having a lot of fun. I even bought some earrings for the cause. And then the band started playing. And my husband loves to dance and he started doing this. And I want to tell you that he was the only one on the dance floor. That's important to know. As I went out there and I took his arm, he started to give me a twirl as he always does. And as he was twirling me, his arm caught my hair. And my hair went that way. And I went that way. And as I stood on the dance floor alone with my husband, I felt exposed. I felt humiliated. Have you ever yourself felt that sting of humiliation, of shame, of regret? It's a horrible feeling. I would like to say that the 7 years of personal growth that I've been working on had made me strong enough where I just plopped down and took that and put it on my head and just started dancing again. That's the kind of woman I am. I'm strong, right? But I ran to the bathroom and then to the door and then to the car, and I had my husband drive me home. And on the way home, I was crying. And then I would laugh hysterically because it really was pretty funny if you thought about it. And I probably will think it's funny in about a decade. But at the time, I didn't. On the freeway, Todd said, "Cindy, I want to tell you something and you're not going to like it. But this could be your greatest moment." I thought, how? I just left my hair on the dance floor. I said, "No. Who are you? If you're not okay with who you are, with the wig, without the wig, with hair, without the hair, if you don't know who you are, then all this work that you are doing with your ladies is for naught. Who are you?" And I had to wrestle with that for a couple days. I'm going to share something with you, what I discovered. If I can get it to pop up. There we go. Who are you? You know, when I looked in the mirror, I was no longer myself. I didn't see myself in there anymore, and I wasn't expecting that. It came on so sudden. And there was this word that kept hitting home with me. It was a small word, but it's keeping me small and stuck. In fact, I'm sure all of you know that words have power, right? They have power to inspire us, to breathe life. We're all speakers, right? We can breathe life into a crowd to inspire, but we can also sit across from the table with somebody who sucks the lifeblood out of us, and that's expire. But this word was different. How many of you have a fun word that you use in January, like mark it as a theme? Anyone want to put it in the chat? Do you have a fun word that you say? Anyone? This year, my word was lead. Last year, it was grow. I don't recommend that to anyone. That was a hard year. Do I have anybody? Let's see. Oh, gratitude. I love that. I love that. That's a good one. Well, my word was a 4-letter word. Yeah. And I don't normally say 4-letter words. I really don't. I try to stay away from them. But like I said, this word kept me stuck. And the thing about words, like I said, they have power, but we also take them on ourselves. And those are words that we say in the secret spots in our mind. You're not enough. I think Elena covered this, right? You don't deserve to be there. Why are you at the sheriff's charity dinner? Why are you sharing the message? Don't they know who you are? Don't they know where you came from? And they whisper to us and we start to believe it. And if we believe it, then everybody else around us starts to treat us how we are treating ourselves, because we train people how to treat us. That's the truth. You want to know what my word is? My word is just. I told you it's 4 letters, right? And it's small. Just fill in the blank. I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I'm just a volunteer at that nonprofit over there. I'm just a server at your favorite restaurant, your Instacart driver, just your caregiver. I'm just. There's another way that just gets us down. It's with our habits. I'll just have one more drink. And then tomorrow I'll work on getting sober. Says a woman whose family is decimated by her drinking problem. And tomorrow turns into next month, which turns into next year, which turns into 3 years down the road. And she is in a hot mess of trouble because of what she could have stopped 3 years ago if it weren't for just holding her down. Or how about just in case? I'll hold on to his phone number just in case he calls me again. Just in case he decides he really does need me, that he really does love me, says a woman who's trapped in a toxic relationship and her friends and her family are telling her to end it, but she won't, just in case. I want to tell you all, ladies, men, that you are not just anything. That you were created by God to do something amazing with your life. And it doesn't stop till you get to the finish line. And we don't get to the finish line till there's no more breath left in our body. And if you are here right now, sitting in the seat, whether you're on Zoom or you're there in person, the chances of you sitting in that seat with your hair, with your eyes, look at your hands, look at your fingerprints, uniquely made, talents, gifts that have been placed all inside of you combined, the chances of that occurring are 1 in 400 trillion, that's with a T. You are not just anyone. I want you to imagine with me for a minute. How many of you were back in the 60s? I was back in the 60s. I was a baby, but I was there. And we are standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with 250,000 of our closest friends. And we are listening to a speech by none other than the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's a pre-written, pre-prescribed, he probably rehearsed it, I'm imagining maybe 100 times, I don't know. But he's 3/4 of the way through his speech. And a woman from the crowd calls out, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." Her name was Mahala Jackson. And do you know that at that moment, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he did something courageous. He deviated from the text. He changed the plan. He went rogue. And from that point, he delivered one of the most famous speeches of the 20th century, if not all time in American history. In fact, when I hear the words, "I have a dream," 60 years later, it gives me goosebumps. Does it give you goosebumps? Makes me imagine, what if he yelled back to Mahala Jackson, "It's just a dream. It was just a thought I was thinking." And he went on, as pre-prescribed, as was already planned. Everybody knew what he was going to say, but he didn't do that. And he changed the course of history, and he inspired a nation to hope and dream again. So I have a question for you. Right here, I have 3 things about Martin Luther that gave him the courage to change the script. He knew his dream. Do you know your dream? He'd probably been dreaming it his entire life. He had it so rehearsed in his mind. He knew where he was and he knew where he wanted to go. He knew his dream. Are you that in touch with your dream? Are you? Next thing. Oops, wrong direction. He knew his dream and he gathered his people, because you know what? Dreaming is free. We can all dream. But the journey is not. And so he knew he had to gather an inner circle to support him and encourage him. And that inner circle was Mahala Jackson. And that he did something else. He gave his dream a voice. He didn't just dream it. He didn't just gather an inner circle. He gave it a voice. And when we do that, our dream takes on wings. And all of a sudden, the doors of opportunity start to open. Have you done that with your dream? Have you given it a voice? Are you ready to change the script in your life like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was? Do you have the courage to do it? That takes me to me. I decided over those couple days that I was going to change my script from shame to shine. It was my tendency the first 50 years of my life to go from shame to shame. It was. This incident, the big wig reveal, would have sent me packing and just put the covers over my head. I don't want to go back out again. But the thing is, I have a dream and I have gathered people and I have given voice to my dream. And that is that I want to raise up 1,000 women leaders to go out and make an impact on this world. And I have enough people around me that they would not let me quit. They would not let me give shame to shame. So the answer to the question is not who are you, but who are they? And I want you to ask the same question to yourself. You're all speakers, whether it's one-on-one, to a group, or to an audience. Who are they? The people that you are serving. How can you deliver the message to them? It was never about me. Those people want me to be real and authentic and vulnerable with them. They want to trust me. And I want to share with them because of this. This is one of my favorite quotes by John Maxwell. A candle loses nothing when it lights another. We're all candles. We all have this flickering flame. And when we are vulnerable and we share our shame, we share our embarrassment, our real moments, and become human, it costs us nothing. But it allows us to transfer that light, to transfer that shine to another and give them the courage to go out and shine. When we change the script on our life, when we create a page turner life and write the next chapter, that's exactly what we do. Oops. I'm going to stop the share.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Cindy, for that awesome speech. Change the script. So my friends, this morning or this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you're calling in from, or sitting, I will tell you, you just heard a word about being enough. Now the opportunity to change the script. I think it's time we look at your brilliance. I'd like to bring forth Misty Kerrigan with her talk, Unveil Your Brilliance. Misty Kerrigan, Unveil Your Brilliance.
How's the PowerPoint looking okay, guys? All right.
Yes.
Kimberly, fellow and a great esteemed qualified speakers, we're very honored to be here tonight, and I just want to say thank you. Tonight, I want to jump on this bandwagon of the imposter syndrome and the change the script. Lena and Cindy, you guys are amazing. I was not crying a little bit over here or getting excited about having a dream. So I want to jump into something amazing. How many of you guys know that we were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with seeds of greatness, not seeds of averageness or mediocre, right? We have seeds of greatness in us. How many of you guys know that? Well, this is an easy crowd to convince because it's a Wednesday night and you spend 3 hours a week every Wednesday getting better in what you do and hitting your passions, I bet. But sadly, some people let things dormant, that greatness. They hide their seeds, whether it's time, life, money, focus. Lately, like over the last few years, 2020, we put these things in front of our greatness and we start to pack them down and pack them down. And pretty soon, some of us don't remember that we have seeds of greatness and we kind of just start doing life. I don't know if anyone else, I know I can admit I sometimes get caught up in that where life is just lifing. Someone told me that the other day. I thought it was brilliant. Life is just lifing. So what happens when we pack out our seeds and we go dormant? Well, unfortunately, I think Les Brown really nailed it when he said, there's no more richer place on earth than the graveyard. Songs that haven't been written, cures that haven't been discovered, inventions that we need. Is because if we take our seeds and we bury them, we get buried with them. So what do we need to do about that? Well, how many of you know it just takes a spark? And, sometimes we walk around and we're like, I want to be motivated. I want to be inspired. Well, the greatest part is that inspiration just means at the root of the word to breathe life back into. Because for a lot of you guys, we forgot it's still there. It's still there. And if we're not in the ground and we're still here and just breathing this air, it's still there. What do we do? What do we do with it? How do we get that spark back? Well, the coolest part is the same thing that might be holding your seeds of greatness back is the same thing that could spark them out and share them with the world. And it is a formula. So the formula is this. So before I explain what the formula is, if it's okay with you guys, I want to take a few seconds, a couple slides, and just let you know, who am I? Who is Misty Kerrigan? Well, I was very, very lucky. At birth, I was adopted by my grandparents. And my grandfather thought I hung the moon. He had 6 other kids before me. I don't know if anyone else is in here the favorite of the family, but I got to grow up being the favorite. And unless you're the favorite, it's hard probably to grasp how amazing it feels to be the favorite. But he told me I could do anything, and I believed him. So in 4th grade, I went pre-med. I wanted to be a doctor. I knew it from 4th grade on. I knew I wanted to be a doctor, a medical doctor, and I wanted to be a pediatrician up until my freshman year of college. And then I realized in a split second after the first course where there was a cadaver and smells is that I was never going to be a medical doctor. And as fast as I could, I ran across campus right into the psychology building, never looking back. So anyone here in the medical profession, thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying after that first class. So I graduated with a psychology degree from University of Arizona, and I moved straight to California with some friends because I was going to live by the ocean and have an amazing life. Well, unfortunately, about 2 years after I graduated college and I was not living by the ocean, I was 25 years old and sleeping on a bunk bed with a fellow roommate in a 2-bedroom house with 4 of us. I was so poor that I wasn't living check to check. I was living 3 checks behind. I would go to those check cashing places and borrow money and borrow money. Michael knows. Michael, thank you. I see your face is making me excited. I lived 3 checks behind, and I started to eat a lot of more ramen like I was in college, and I started to let self-doubt build in, and I started to think my grandpa was full of crap. That life wasn't what you make it, and you couldn't do the things because thought I was working pretty hard. I had 3 jobs. I was working 3 jobs. It wasn't that I was scared to work. I was working 3 jobs and still not making the money I needed to make. Well, I did what anyone does when they can't sleep. I was watching infomercials, and this infomercial came on in the middle of the night, and this man came on, and he was exciting, and he was telling me about life and dreams and how we could still have anything we wanted. The only problem was he cost $300, and I didn't have that. But my grandpa was still alive back then. I was blessed that he stayed with me until I was 30. But at age 25, he got my early Christmas present in September, and I changed my entire life from these. I don't know if there's any younger generations in here, but these are CDs. They don't have those anymore. We can even play them in your car. I still have them, but it changed my life. And I went back to where I work. I've been at Oak Grove Center for 23 years, and I started being more excited. I started working better with the kids. I started working better with the staff. They started promoting me in leadership. I started writing books and creating these amazing programs that 10 years in a row, we're the highest independent living skills program for foster youth, 16 to 21 in the state of California. We are one of the most successful wraparound programs. I started directing. I got a job for UC Davis. I consult with UC Davis, and I train every state in the state of California. I write programs and curriculum, and I get to go in and I get to train individuals. My life took off after that CD set, and life just started to get better. And all these things I thought, get greater clarity and focus and a deeper understanding of behaviors and psychology and needs. Would they work in the business world? Because they sure worked in the mental health world. And I accidentally taught a dog walker how to make 6 figures. She went to a 6-figure sustainable with just the stuff that I learned doing the stuff that I loved. And all of a sudden I realized I want to speak, and I want to work with more business owners, and I want to teach this to the world. And then 5 years later, I have my own podcast with Miss Kimberly Smith. We wrote a book. I'm on stages with Sharon Lecter, Victor Mark Hansen, Mr. Les Brown himself. Mary Glorfield was Tony Robbins' VP for 18 years. She's in my cell phone. I still haven't met Tony yet, but that's still here coming. But the thing is that my life went from ramen to amazement. And I was thinking, how do you go from 3 paychecks behind to bank accounts, plural? And I realized it was this. Passion plus purpose times your beliefs, that where you spend your time and who you associate with becomes your life. Your life is made up of this. And it hit me. The things we believe to be true, we create ourselves. The things we believe to be true, we create ourselves. Cindy and Elena, you guys just talked about it very, very beautifully. And I want to say, I thought about that at age 25. And I said, if this is true, if I believe anything and that becomes true, then this is the only thing I'm going to believe. I'm going to read this twice a day. I bought a ring and it's engraved in the ring. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans to prosper and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. God wants me to prosper. For I know the plans I have for you. When life gets rough, I pull this out again. When life's amazing, I pull this out again. But this became my core belief in my life. And as that started to take effect, I understood the 3 steps. So I'm going to give you guys the 3 steps tonight so that if some of you already have these steps, and if you don't, here's the time to grab a pen and really get it. Understanding your purpose. Define what your purpose means and why it's essential. What is your purpose? Where do you feel most alive? I believe God gave each of us divine gifts, but those divine gifts aren't for us. Those divine gifts are for the world. And when you have those divine gifts and you're sharing them with the world, in God's divine plan, you're unstoppable. I think I accidentally did it. I didn't know I was doing that, but when it started to like hit, like the rainstorm became the hurricane because my life was taking off so fast. I think it's because I started to share my divine gifts. And when I started to share my divine gifts, I've never been more passionate. I remember watching Kimberly give a speech at a conference and she was dancing around on the stage and she made us do push-ups. And I said, woof, that lady's passionate. And I want to be around more passionate people. I have enough people in my life who are not passionate. I want to get around more passionate people because when you're passionate about life is amazing. It does feel like work every once in a while, but when you're on stages, when you're sitting in these seats for 3 hours, or when you get to learn about where to set your knife or when someone doesn't steal your bread, that stuff's exciting. Now, there's people out there who won't believe us, but that's okay. Because we know we were here tonight. We know because we're passionate about speaking. We're passionate about others speaking. We're passionate about helping them become better. When you're living in that, it just automatically starts to hit the next thing, which is your patience. You have to be patient. It's not your time, it's God's time. And it's just about being consistent. It's about coming to these things, being in Toastmasters, saying yes when someone wants you to speak, coming virtual, speaking in person, staying consistent and focusing on the things you can control. And I want to tell you something. If you have your purpose and your passion aligned, you plus God are the majority. You and God, that's a majority. Everyone else in your life doesn't matter. You're the majority. So when you have your purpose and your passion and you feel it and you know it, it's those baby steps. Sometimes you might get knocked down, but I guarantee you with passion, you get back up. And I love how someone said, I wake up at 8 a.m. and wonder how many miles Kimberly's already ran. Well, that's passion and it's consistency because sometimes I know she doesn't want to get up and run, but I know passionately and consistently, it's our purpose to continue to run. And when you align your passion and your purpose and you're really patient with it, the best thing happens. We let our light shine and we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same when we do it. But you know what they don't tell you? I'm going to leave you with something I had to learn the hard way. And I wish they would have told me this like in junior high. When I go and I do talks in front of kids, I tell them, because I wish someone would have told me, here's the thing. When your light's shining bright and you get around others' lights who are shining bright, you become blinding. The light is blinding when you get around other people whose light shine just as bright. Over these last few years, my life has been nothing but phenomenal. I get to travel, I get to train, and you can't, if you came to when I was 25 and you said, Misty, you're going to be on yachts and jets and people are going to pay you money to speak. Every report card I had said I talk too much. Every report card said I talk too much. And now I'm in my 40s and people call me and they want to pay me to come talk. It's because I aligned my purpose with my passion. I dedicated my time and I got around other people's whose lights were blinding so that mine would do the same. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. And I am so excited because I know most of you in here and I know your lights shine bright. So I would like to return the power back over to Ms. Kimberly Smith Austin. I guess I have to stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Misty. unveiling your brilliance and really recognizing who you are and what you have in store. What a amazing piece that was brought together. Now I'm actually sitting in a seat now, and I have the last seat here today. And I'll tell you, as much as I'd like to share my presentation and all the stuff that I designed just for you, I want you to take a moment to really think about what it takes to shine. You've heard it from Elena, from Cindy, and Misty. It takes courage. Today, as I sat at my desk preparing and really thinking about our time together tonight, one of the things that I wrote down, 2 words: belief and courage. Belief and courage. We know everything starts with belief. If you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're right. That quote was created and there's power behind it. But what I recognize is that 2 things happen. And I always say to clients, you will or will you? And it's kind of interesting because we get to choose, as Elena said. But I want you to think about this question for a moment. Can you or will you? There's a difference there. We all have the ability to do things. The question is, do we have the courage to step into it and make it happen? Now, I do have a few slides, and I won't spend a lot of time here. I want to bring one that really resonates and speaks to me. Now, you all may know Marianne Williamson's famous poem. I can't think because, I was fragile. Just a heads up, I was at a CIF game and it's over. But one of the things that she said is our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? That's the question. Playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are not meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory within us. It is not just in some, it is in everyone. And we collectively, we let our own light shine. We will consciously give others permission to do the same. Think about that. And Misty said it, Cindy said it, Elena said it. Now, they may have said it in different forms by way of their story and their thinking, but this is powerful. The Empower Women in Wellness conference that we just had on Saturday, so many women took this messaging and they walked away feeling empowered and ready to take control of their lives. Now, yes, our target was women, but gentlemen, this is for you too. I know this is real for you. And so when I think about this, it made me think about a question that was asked in Hamlet. He said, to be or not to be, that is the question. To shine or not to shine, to have courage or not to have courage. We get to decide every single day. At the conference, I shared a story about my life personally. Grew up on the south side of Chicago in a home that was drugs and alcohol. And for some odd reason, there was something inside of me that said that was not the pathway in which I wanted to travel. I took time reading books. I really didn't have anyone to influence me, but I had 2 books. One was the Bible, and one was this little book that gave me little inspiration points. And I'd read them every other day just because I thought, man, there has to be something good there. See, I'm a bibliophile. I've been reading books forever. I owned a bookstore, and anything I can get out of a book has actually helped me grow. It's been my guidepost. But what I saw in that book was that I could, if I believed, and I took one step, even if it was a baby step, that I could do it. And so I did. I pursued my education, went and got a college degree, and then went to work in corporate America. 5 years later, decided to go back and get my master's degree. After getting my master's degree, I was offered a job that doubled my salary. Wow. And I was still in my 20s. I made over $100,000, which was my big dream. But I did that before I was 30. And my mind said, what else can I do? Now, in the process of recognizing that, wow, I was not subject to my circumstances, but I was subject to my choices. These were the pathways that would determine who I would become. I, at 24 years old, decided to buy my first house. And my brother, who also grew up in the same home, he was 12 years my junior. I asked my parents, could he come live with me? They initially said no. It didn't make sense for a 24-year-old young woman buying her first house in the midst of her career to bring her baby brother to live with him. He was 11 years old. He had a learning disability. And they eventually said yes. And the reason I did it because I knew there was possibilities there. He came, he went through elementary, high school, and then even started college. Fast forward later, something similar happened again. My cousin, who is now 32 years old, at the age of 15, her mother, also subject to drugs and alcohol, had pretty much let her be. And my mother and my grandmother took her in. But then at 15, my grandmother died. And she was our caregiver. She was the responsible person in our family, if you will. But when she passed away, my cousin didn't see any hope. And she called one day and she asked me, can I live with you? At the time, my son was 8 months old. I was fairly new in California and really hadn't made my way here. I talked to my husband at the time. We prayed and we said yes. Now, her mother was my abuser. Her mother would pick fights with me and steal my money and do harmful things to me when I was a kid. And most people at this season in their life probably would have said, no way, Jose, I am not taking on her seed. But there was something that said, give her a chance. Just like you have been able to move out of this situation, give her a chance. I'm happy to report that she's now 32, obviously, and that when she came with a grade point average of 0.67, very low self-esteem, no belief in herself, she came into our home. We embraced her, we loved her, and gave her belief. She finished high school with 2.67. She then went on to college and got a bachelor's degree from California Baptist University, then went on to get a master's degree in leadership. And today, she's in her practicum to become a licensed family marriage therapist. She wants to give back. When you talk about shining, again, this light isn't for us. If we take it, we should shine that light out. We should shine the light out, just like this lighthouse. Notice, it's there for a purpose, to attract, but also to reflect. It's that beacon of light that each and every one of us should desire to become. Now, I know it's not easy because life be life and Miss D. That's the expression right now. Life is lifing. It's hard. It's not easy. But with a little bit of belief and courage, the courage to shine, to say, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Surround yourself with people that support you. And I believe in life, there's two sides. There's circles and there's squares. You know, basic geometry, circles and squares. Circles are the people who support you and come around you, embrace you, encourage, inspire you to be the best version of yourself. And then there's squares. Those are people who put you in the box. And truth be told, some of those folks may be your closest friends, your closest family members who may not believe, who may not see what you see. But I'm here to tell you, don't give up hope. Believe and take the steps. The choice to shine, I've learned personally for myself, it's a decision. It's a decision. I want you to take a moment and think about the decisions you've made in your life. Well, as Elena said, chocolate or vanilla? Will I drink coffee or tea this morning? Will I eat an omelet or a cereal? We get these choices every day. And our life path, like everything else, is a choice. It's a decision that we make. And it's one that we decide if we want to illuminate the world. And here's how you do it. Authenticity. Authenticity. When you show up as 100% you, I've learned that other person that I pretended to be and hoped to be and dreamed to be was not real. And it didn't have the impact as this person that I am today. Yeah, I may not be for everyone. I recognize that. But what I recognize is that I love the person that I've become. And I challenge you to think about that. Love the person that you have become. Laugh at yourself every day. Love on yourself every day, because your authenticity will allow you to go places you never dreamed possible. Resilience, compassion for others allows you to cast the light, your light, that not only guides you on your journey, but guess what? It brightens the path for others. My brother's now 41 years old, successful, living his life, travels, goes all kinds of places. Even with his learning disability, he's still successful. My cousin, 32-year-old, married, 2 children, and living her life, living her dream. She second-guessed herself many, many, many times. But having that circle around her to say, you can do it, belief, and stepping out changes lives and can change your life. So my question to you, my friends, to be or not to be? You get to decide. Will you shine your light and allow your story to transform your world and the world of those around you? Now, to conclude, I'd like to tell you that the Courage to Shine was designed just for the Empowered Women in Wellness Conference, but we're super excited because people are asking us to share the story. And coincidentally, I talked to Tom and he said, well, do you have some people you want to bring? Absolutely. And here we are today. But not only are we sharing these stories, and there's many others, because Empowered Women in Wellness is about the whole woman, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social. So at our conference, we talked about all these things. We had financial gurus, we had mental health professionals, and we had folks just like us. But we are going to be releasing a book next week. It's called The Courage to Shine. And all of the speakers that you've seen tonight are sharing their stories, strategies to help you shine your light. We invite you to stay plugged in and connected with us because we believe that all of you have a light. The question is, will you shine it? I want you to join with me. Grab your cell phones right now, turn on that light, and let's get it shining. Let's shine that light right now. I see Aaron on camera. Let's see the folks over at Loma Linda. Grab your phones, turn on your light. That's right. Cindy, I see you. That's right. This is a choice. Some of you could have said, no, Kimberly, no, thank you. I don't want to turn on my light. My life is not in a place where my light matters, but it does. And if it doesn't feel like it today, your decision, your choice to do it will change the scope. Thank you for all of you over in Loma Linda. I see your light shining. With that, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Tom, we can't hear you. Kimberly, well, from the virtual side of world, thank you, and thank you for bringing those 3 amazing speakers. I hear 2 of them in your club with Esther. You guys must have the best club in all of Toastmasters. Wow, I mean, they blew us away tonight. All right, Tom, are you ready? Jeremiah says he's got a few words.
Yes, thank you so
We
much.
need to announce next month. Oh, I want to make sure everyone votes into Michael.
Yeah, so Jeremiah has a few words.
Yes, Jeremiah will speak also. Jeremiah, but I want to make sure we get votes on our QS speaker. And I know I'll announce what's going on next month. But Jeremiah, you have some comments.
Yes, thank you so much, Tom, and thank you, everybody. What a fantastic meeting. I appreciate everything. I've had an opportunity to hear a couple of these people speak multiple times, Kimberly and Christina, and I really appreciate them also bringing their guests. It's always so powerful as well, and I definitely look forward to seeing this program continue with Kimberly and the rest of your team. It's a fantastic job. In regards to the district, we have quite a lot of stuff. We are in our last 60 days. We are right now focusing on this coming weekend. We have our district conference. That's going to be in Redlands at the First United Methodist Church. There's still opportunities to be able to sign up and attend. We have the Hall of Fame lunch. If you've gotten a DTM over the past 5 years, we're recognizing you there. Anybody who's achieved educational awards this past year, you got an email from our spring conference team in regards to being recognized at the Hall of Fame lunch. We have a great keynote speaker for a local artist who talks about the work that they're doing with kids in regards to street art. We have, but more importantly, we also have our speech contest. The winners of our division speech contest are competing. And also we have at 9:45 our business meeting. Tomorrow is the last day to register your vote through e-ballot. If you are a delegate, a DEC member, a vice president of education, or a president, be sure to register your e-ballot. That has to be done to be able to register, to be able to receive your ballot for the day of the business meeting. Outside of just our conference coming up this weekend, we have TLI on June 15th. We've just signed a place at Alexander Hughes Hall. So make sure that if you're with a club, make sure that your club has started electing officers, because that is where we will be able to start training our officers. And we will also have installation as well at that event for all of our new district officers. This past week, I've been spending a lot of time working directly with our division directors, and here soon we're going to be laying out a path to distinguish. And I look forward to achieving that path in these next 60 days as we get ready to cross the stage in Anaheim. And I look forward to everything that we can all do in these next 60 days. So thank you, Tom, for everything that you've done with this program and everything. It was a fantastic meeting tonight, and have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you hear me? My on microphone? I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. One more. I'm not sure. Jeremiah mentioned, and that is that if you are a new QS, we will have pins for you there. You'll have a chance to have a public recognition of your accomplishment. Tell you a little bit about next month's meeting. Again, we have a very full program. Michael's going to be in Scotland, my co-chair, and I'm going to be in Alabama at a wedding. But we're going to have a heck of a program, and we have had one of our QSs, David Flores, past District Governor David Flores, will be the guy, the boss in charge, and he may let me say something on Zoom if I can get there on Zoom from Alabama. But anyway, we have a very full program, a very excellent program. We will also have a QS candidate and Ralph Dieter. Those of you who know Lois Sicking, that's her husband. We also have 3 QSs who will be speaking. Roz, who you met again tonight, she'll be doing a special speech that's guaranteed to bring a tear to your eye, I'm sure. It's a very special and emotional story to be told. We have CF Hawthorne, who's going to give us a personal empowerment of, or organizing business kind of presentation. And finally, we have Susanna Lee, who is a QS in this district. She is blind and has been a QS for quite a long time, but she's been going through some special work with Randy Powell, one of our QSs extraordinaire, and she will be doing a presentation she has done in the past, but she has been doing keynote speeches around the country. So as we have 3 QSs and a QS candidate all in one night, I don't know if Jeremiah, if David will get a chance to say anything or not. He'll probably open the meeting and then keep introducing people and have hardly any time to speak, but we'll see what happens. It should be a great meeting and look forward to seeing you all there and look forward to seeing you all at the conference. Good night all. No, the next month's we have to do our drawing. Next month's meeting, and I had it written down here somewhere, June 5th, I think. Yes, June 5th. Okay, we do have a drawing for these 3 books, and I have numbers here to read to you. And first, you just come and get them, run over each other, whatever it takes, but don't get any injuries. I don't have good liability insurance. Anyway, the last, let's see if I got these upside down. Yes, I do. All right, I have 945, 946, 947. These are randomly drawn, by the way. 949. What happened to 948? They got left out. And 950.
Did you say 949?
I think so. I think I didn't. Yeah, I said what happened to 948? So not come and get it. 946. 7. 946, 947, 948. Oh, 950 and 45. Yes. I'll let her. We're not looking for numbers. We're just looking for somebody to take their choice.
4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 8, and
Nice girls don't get the corner office.
Get the corner office.
Okay, thank you all again, and we will see you somehow next month.
Square.